estamos uniendo el tiempo, ¿no? Hola. Hola, buenas tardes. Muchas gracias por vuestra atención y por estar aquí. En primer lugar, quiero agradecer a la AIS y al país organizador la oportunidad de poder representar a España como moderadora de esta sesión. En mi papel de directora general del Instituto Nacional de la Seguridad Social de España y, a su vez, también como presidenta de la Comisión Técnica de Tecnologías de la Información y Comunicación. Bueno, ¿qué nos ha pasado en estos 2-3 años? Pues algo que era fundamental, aunque a veces lo considerábamos complementario y accesorio, como era la transformación digital, hemos visto que ha sido fundamental en unos tiempos de COVID, en unos tiempos en el que hemos tenido que buscar nuevas formas de relacionarnos con nuestros ciudadanos y de darles una respuesta. Todos tenemos claro lo que necesitamos. Todos hablamos habitualmente de transformación digital, de retos, pero quizás sea conveniente pararnos y preguntarnos qué es la transformación digital. Y para hacerlo y para que nos pueda dar unas ideas seguramente muy interesantes y de las que nos servirá como debate, pues va a acompañarme aquí el señor Igor Rosete, que procederá a hacer una presentación de qué es la transformación digital. Cuando quiera.
Muchas gracias, María del Carmen. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. My name is Igor Rossetti. I am from Mexico, and I am collaborating in this occasion as an independent expert. Not that far ago, I was part of the IAS. I was VP for the Technical Commission of ICT under the leadership of Raúl Ruya. And now they invited me to be here with you guys and to try to explain what is about digital transformation. Thank you to Raúl Ruya. Thank you to Ernesto Brotherson. Thank you, dear friends. It's an honor for me, it's a pleasure to be participating in this effort. Well, I know some of you maybe were at the conference in Tallinn, Estonia, where the main topic was digital transformation also. And I know that this is an issue, a topic that it's been in the agenda of the IAS since a long time ago. But it's still been a hard concept to understand. It's not that easy to understand what it is digital transformation, and that's why I named this presentation this way. What on earth is digital transformation? Because we think that I'm trying to do this. It's already there? No. There. What is so complicated to build up a digital transformation strategy? Well, first of all, is because the word digital is a very messy word. Everybody understands different things when you talk about digital. Unlike when I talk about a hamburger, I'm pretty sure everybody here knows what is a hamburger, what is it taste, what is it like. But digital is not that's the case. It is like ordering a hamburger and receiving different things, receiving maybe a hot dog, receiving a Caesar salad. No, digital is something different for everybody. Somebody can think about digital going paperless, going artificial intelligence, going analytics, but there is not a common sense on what is digital. And it's very tempting from a lot of people to think that digital is something about your IT department. It's something about your CTO, that it is a job for the CTO, that he has to do something and to bring a digital strategy for the institution, and that is not the case. That's why it's very complicated to understand what is the digital transformation. So, but at the same time, everybody is talking about digital transformation. Everybody is talking about this. You hear about this in the news, you hear about this in books, in conferences. Everybody is talking about digital transformation. I bring here two examples. Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO for Facebook, he's saying that you should do something. He says the most dangerous thing is not to do something about this. We have the head of the Deloitte that is all trying to explain that we should do something because the digital world is looking very different from the digital, from the analog world, and that our mindset, our institutions, everything was built before the digital era, so we have to change our linear mindsets to the non-linear digital reality. And I'm going to start talking about digital transformation, telling you what is not about digital transformation. What is not about? Well, the bad news is that digital transformation is not about technology, and it is not about transformation. It's crazy. But why? Because everybody, too many people think that technology is going to give you a digital transformation strategy. They think that if you do something with technology, if you apply technology to some aspects, specific aspects of your institution, of your job, you will have a digital technology strategy. But this is not the reality. You will have to use technology, but the same way you use technology in all other aspects of your life. You use technology for purchase a flight ticket. You use technology to grab a cab. You use technology in your car when you put the Waze and you want to go from this part to this part. You use technology in every other aspect of your life, and you will use technology when you are talking about digital transformation. But this is not about technology only. This is not about having good systems or having good procedures. And this is not about only transforming once. If you look into the dictionary for the word transformation, it appeals to something that it has a start point and an end point, that you will become something. You are not something, and you will become something, and you will transform yourself. Digital transformation is not about this. Digital transformation is about a pathway. It's a new way of doing things. It's the new normality. You cannot think that you're going to do a digital transformation and then you will stop and you will go and say, oh, I am done. No, you will never be done, because this is the new way of things, the new way of thinking, the new way of doing business. So we have to understand digital transformation in a different way. It is not about improving your internal business processes. It is not about re-engineering your processes. It is not an extension or a replacement of the IT department. I have heard people saying that they will need a new CTO or a new CEO to bring to the company digital transformation, or they will hire a new people for the IT department to do this, and this is not about it. I know this is confusing, but when I was working at IMSS, I was the CTO for IMSS, and we launched a digital transformation strategy, very ambitious. We created something called IMSS Digital. And with IMSS Digital, we started launching an app in the mobile devices where we are able to deliver digital services to the citizens, to the workers. And at the beginning, when I was telling my boss that we should do something different, he was saying, "Are you sure? I'm not that clear. I'm not that sure that people are going to use the mobile app to come for our services." And I answered him, "No, you should be sure, because they are using that. They are using right now that for everything else. The problem is that when they come with us to our offices to do any tramit or anything they need from us, it is like they going into a time machine and going back like 30 years in past. So they come to our offices in an Uber, or maybe they just bought a ticket in Expedia or one mobile app. But the moment they enter our offices, it's a traveling time 30 years back. They have to do line, they have to fill forms, handwriting forms. They have to wait. They have to explain something to the manager of the office. They have sometimes to beg them, "Please, I need this. I don't bring that." The world has changed. So, what is digital transformation about? It is about everything else. I know it's a little confusing, but it is about leadership. It is about structure, it is about talent, it is about finance. It is about making things different. Technology has changed everything in our worlds, in our lives. We behave different because of technology. So we need to adapt our institutions to that new reality. I will say that technology is about digital transformation is about, we need to adapt our services, we need to adapt our structures, our mindset, in order to have a different view of the preference of the people. We need to discover and invent the future, the new future. And I know it's hard to say, but when I was in Mexico with IMSS, we launched in the mobile app this new service that was how to get your social security number online. Wow, this was like talking of rocket science with them. When I was explaining this to my boss or to my colleagues, they were saying, no, you cannot do that. And I would say, why not? It is very easy. You just have to permit them to give them their data in a secure way, and you will get back with to them the social security. Before we launched the service, we were issuing about 50,000 social security numbers a month, because people had to go to the offices, do a line, bring papers, bring identification, bring a lot of things, and they will issue their social security number. Then we launched the application in the mobile, and we start issuing 5,000 social security numbers a day. That's the way you can transform this. You have to be able to transform in so many things. What would be a proper definition? Well, there is one. At least Gartner will tell us that digital transformation is about using technology in a different form. They will say you have to consider into your strategies that people now has their mobile devices, that there are social networks, that there are a lot of the Internet of Things, and you have to take advantage of this, and you have to put or to incorporate that into your strategy and into your services. I think that's a good definition, but what I like the most is the second definition that says that digital transformation is a business answer to a technology question. And this is very important, is the business answer to the technology question. And is, given how the digital world is unfolding, how should we evolve our business strategy to allow us to survive and thrive? And they are saying survive and thrive. This has to do with surviving, with adapting ourselves to the new reality. If we don't do this, we are going to be this back in time institution where citizens have to go because they don't have any other option. We have to adapt our services, our mindset to this new reality. So what it means for you as heads of the social security institutions, well, we have to transform our service delivery platforms so we look alike to the other things in life. It's like going bank online, like e-traveling, like watching TV on demand. Our services has to look alike like those. We have to be part of this new reality. We have to escalate the customer's attention models so we can serve massive number of citizens with different petitions at the same time. We have to be able to serve thousands of citizens at the same time with different petitions. That only you will do if you are digital. And you have to become data-driven because at the very end, digital transformation is only about data. It's only about data. If we don't know how to manage our proper data, if we don't have our data in order, if we don't have our databases interconnected, if we don't have the data clean, we are not going to be able to deliver digital services. And at the end, everything resumes to becoming a data-driven institution. We have to start capitalizing our data, structure our data in order to give new services. Imagine that you can, what would it be if you try to order an Uber with your app mobile, but you haven't done the enrollment in the app. You haven't given them your data. They will not be able to give you any service. It's the same. If you don't have the data of your customers, of your workers, of the beneficiaries in order, you won't be able to give them the data, the services. So at the end, digital transformation is about becoming a smart data to manage our data better. And what is the role of you as head of this? You have to ensure that the business answer to the digital is answering. You have to be aware. You have to question your colleagues. You have to question your second tier employees. What are they doing to become digital? What is their portfolio of business? Why are they doing things like this and not like this? And you have to build new partnerships. You have to go outside with the employees, go outside with your customers and ask them, what would they do if you give them a platform like this? You have to partner with them. You will ask them, you have to have your mobile app in your device, and you have to input your data, and I will give you the. We are partners in this. It is not only my responsibility, it's something you have to do around this. So I hope this will help to have a rich talk with the rest of the panel. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias, Igor. claramente tu experiencia en México, tu experiencia de colaboración con la AIS y, bueno, pues digamos tu nueva situación de experto independiente nos ayuda mucho a centrar este concepto complicado, tú lo has dicho. Yo creo que ante situaciones complejas pensar que soluciones sencillas es difícil, por eso hay que hacer un análisis global de todo lo que significa transformación digital. Me quedo también con lo que decías, que hay que hacer algo. Yo creo que hay que atreverse a hacer cambios, hay que atreverse a pensar de una manera nueva. Siempre es un riesgo, pero y a veces uno puede tener la tentación de no hacer nada pensando que así no se equivoca, pero normalmente es la mayor equivocación el no hacer nada. Para continuar con esta sesión, pues tenemos un nivel de panelistas muy alto, además de representación de distintos países en distintas situaciones, con puntos de partida seguramente distintos, pero que todos comparten pues un interés común y seguro que con todos los que estamos presentes de analizar y de explicarnos experiencias y cómo ven el futuro de la transformación digital. Nos acompañan en esta sesión el señor Margus Ar, que puede subir aquí al estrado, el señor Michael Regino, el señor Richard Patrick, el señor Richard Patrick, y el ministro Haroldo Cedraz. Como comentaba, tenemos al representante de Estonia, del Centro de Sistemas de Información de Salud y Bienestar, señor Margus Ar. Tenemos también al representante, el presidente y director general de Sistemas de Seguridad Social de Filipinas, el señor Michael Regino. Y tenemos Sir Richard Patrick, del director general del Fondo Nacional de Seguridad Social de Uganda, el ministro Haroldo Cedraz, del Tribunal Federal de Cuentas de Brasil. Yo creo que, como decía, 4 países, incluso continentes, pero que partiendo de situaciones distintas, seguramente vamos a darnos cuenta que tenemos muchos temas en común. Y en primer lugar, quería plantear al señor Margus Ar que nos hable de sus experiencias en la transformación digital. Tuvimos la oportunidad de estar en Estonia, de ver los grandes avances que se habían hecho en Estonia en esta materia. Y yo creo que sería muy bueno poder comentarlos y, sobre todo, ver qué desafíos nos enfrentamos ante esta transformación digital.
Good afternoon. Is it working? Okay, it works. Good afternoon. I'm Margus Ar. I'm from Estonia. I'm Director General at the ICT Authority under the Ministry of Social Affairs. But when we are talking about the digitalization in Estonia, we started already 20 years ago when the Nokia and Ericsson were most popular as mobile phones and PCs were under the table and online banking took just the first steps. And we launched our national ID card on that time, including digital identity and also data exchange platform X-Road. And all Estonian citizens, they had a unique identifier. Those are 3 pillars where on top of that we built our digital society. But it has been a long journey with difficult decisions, already 20 years. And in the beginning, we had a lot of negative articles in media. Why government is spending money? We don't need such kind of thing as ID card. But we always, during these 20 years, have had a very good political support. It was very important in the beginning. You cannot make big changes without the political support. But where are we today? Most of the services are online. We have more than 5,000 different services. All the citizens, they have their national ID cards. They can log into the public sector services, to the private sector services. They can sign documents digitally, but still only 70% are using online services based on the statistics who are using digital identity. And 30%, they want to keep going in the physical offices to get the service. We cannot digitalize everything, but they still want to have a good service even in the office. And during the 20 years, we have collected a lot of different data in different domains, but we are not so happy how we don't use it. There is a lot of information. But are we happy at the situation, in the situation at the moment? Are we in the final destination? No, we are just on the road. And what are the next steps? We started to think about that a few years ago, and it was a year ago we published a document called Estonian Digital Agenda 2030. And what was the key topic, or what are the key topics in this agenda? First one was digital government. Second one, connectivity. And third one, cybersecurity. Just a remark, if you don't want to spend to cybersecurity, don't spend for digitalization as well, because this is a waste of money. The cybersecurity is very important to protect all the data. But if we look inside digital government, what are the subtopics? Live event and proactive services, as it was mentioned already also by the Australian speaker, they are in the same way. It means that if the citizens want to, has a right to get some service, they don't have to apply for that. Government knows and sends the money to the account, for example. AI-powered government and big data. We have a lot of data. How to get the best results out of that? Human-centric. When we started to think about the agenda, we take a citizen-first approach. Public sector works for the citizens. We want to make the better services for them. And of course, green ICT is one of the topics. But digitalization cannot be targeted by itself. As it was mentioned already, it's a tool which helps to make better services, faster, more convenient services. And as we see, the next innovation doesn't come from the, ICT side. It's the processes. Let's make processes faster, simple, and provide better services. But when we are in the final station, or are we? Or is it a never-ending journey? I think there is no end destination. We are always on the way. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Espero que esas iniciales reticencias al gasto, a la inversión económica, pues viendo los resultados y viendo que es el camino, ya no sea el principal problema que tenéis ahora. Supongo que ahora os quedan otros desafíos, pero que habréis convencido de que era el camino. Perfecto. También en Filipinas, el presidente y director, yo creo que en una sociedad con un nivel de población muy elevado y una sociedad en que cada vez hay un aumento de población importante, sería muy interesante conocer cómo se afronta, qué experiencia se tiene y qué desafíos pensáis que tenéis en vuestro país para la transformación digital. Cuando quiera el señor Michael
Okay. Back in 2019, when we had our previous ISA World Social Security Forum, many of us were on our way with our digital transformation, but there were external parties who were not in sync with our pace, with our priorities, even with our passion. In the case of the Philippines, there were banks who could not commit to the volume of online transactions that we would ask them over a time frame. There were other government offices which were sources of important data, which were not cooperative with sharing what we needed. And for more than 60 years, our members in the Philippine Social Security System have been used to transacting with us manually, over the counter, and receiving checks for their benefits and loan proceeds. There was actually more chaos and uncertainty and less buy-in and urgency in the digital transformation then. But the COVID pandemic basically changed all of that. As our customers had to be served from their homes, we had to hasten the delivery of online services. As the Philippine Social Security System, we were tasked to deliver financial support worth nearly $1 billion in 2 tranches to over 3.1 million private sector members. We had to send it to the right beneficiaries at the right time, with the right amount, and with very minimal intermediary cost, no risk of corruption, and done at the fastest time possible. Now, with the support of the local IRS, we were able to identify the business employers who had to cease or suspend operations and accordingly stop payment of salaries to their employees. The banking system, which was initially reluctant to deliver such a volume of transactions, had their systems tested and was able to give full support in time for the said program to assist our private sector members. Since then, all but one of the 9 benefits that we have are now online. In this changing world where members of over 50 years old are normally digitally challenged, 72% of our transactions in 2021 was done digitally, while the remaining 28% is still preferred to go to the SSS office to meet officers in person. Our mobile app has been downloaded 23 million times, while a total of 13 million members and employers have registered with our website. So what were the enabling factors that help us as we move to the digital journey? I could think of 3. The first was the move to a digital culture is foremost. By digital culture, we mean that all efforts are focused on developing systems to make the customer experience easier, more seamless, and even magical to a digitally challenged member. Where leadership, talent, and even the capital expenditures are focused on the digitization of the organization. And where even the most technology-averse employee would feel that he will have a role in the organization should he conform with the changes in the work environment. Second is the need for more digital expertise as we compete with both the public and private sector for the same limited talents. So in the lack of such expertise, the need for more training in data science, blockchain, and other IT innovative fields become a priority. And third, the external ecosystem where we belong should be in sync with the pace and intent of our digital journey. Data sharing among government institutions should be the norm and not the exception. On the risk side, we already see that there's a rise already in digital fraud as fixers and small-time syndicates try to steal the hard-earned benefits of IT-challenged members. Cybersecurity is another threat. We have yet to see Social Security data being subject to ransom, but we know that this can happen and we need to be prepared for it. So we endeavor to learn more as we navigate our institutions through our respective digital transformations. We hope to hear more best practices of fellow ISA members, so our journey will be a lot easier. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Hay un aspecto que yo creo que luego será objeto de debate y que ha estado muy apuntado. Cuando trabajamos con datos, cuando intercambiamos información, cómo garantizar y evitar fraudes. Yo creo que será un tema que será importante también debatir luego entre los participantes. Tenemos otro tema importante que yo creo que va a ser muy útil conocer. ¿Cuáles son las estrategias institucionales que se están adoptando para llevar a cabo esa transformación digital? ¿Cómo esa transformación digital nos ayuda a obtener nuestros objetivos, como administraciones de seguridad social? Y me gustaría que nos lo comentara Richard Patrick, como representante de Uganda, un país con una población muy joven, seguramente una población que se va a educar en los datos, en las tecnologías de la información, pero que seguramente también tendrá que aprender a educarse en esas tecnologías dentro del ámbito de la seguridad social. Cuando quieras.
Thank you so much for having me. I think it's only in order that I give you a little background on the social pension scheme that we've got in Uganda. It's a provident fund. It basically covers about 2.5 million Ugandans of a population of about 45. It's a pension scheme of the private sector, and therefore the people in government have their own scheme. So one of the biggest challenges that we had with the scheme was literally we had a manual system whereby the process of paying into the scheme involved recruitment first, and the recruitment was done manually. We had people walking into our branches and being able to be served with a lot of paper. As mentioned by Michael, we had a similar situation. Obviously, the second part is through the accumulation of phase, whereby members pay in through their employers the contributions on a monthly basis. And that would come in the form of paper, a check dropped maybe in our office, or even sent to the bank, into our bank account, with very little regard to who this money belongs to, especially if the schedule has been detached from the check and has been misplaced. And then, of course, the third part was at the time of the benefit being paid out. The member would then come to us and line up and queue up and basically fill in all the papers, and it would take us an average of about 105 days to be able to do that. So we began on this journey around 2015, where we decided that we would become digital, and we had three guiding principles. We needed that every single service that we offered both to our employers and the employees was a self-service. In other words, they were able to manage that process themselves. The second principle was ubiquity. In other words, anywhere you were able to make whatever it is, the contribution, the application, the drawdown, and everything else that goes through. And the third principle was to make sure that all the processes were straight through. In other words, nobody, no human endeavor was involved. So when we came to the application, the process was that a member could go onto their phone, they could go onto our website, they could go onto any other digital instance and be able to then download their details from the national registry, what we call the NERA, and then that information would systematically be uploaded onto our system. That came through with partnerships that we've been able to build with the National Registry, but also with things like the Uganda Registration Services Bureau, which does for the employers. When we came to the issue of receiving the contributions were based on the fact that you could sit in your office as an employer and make a payment into the bank, and this data would then be populated through the bank into our server and onto the member's account. From a turnaround of 14 days, we were able to achieve a turnaround of 5-10 minutes, paying into a member's account and allocating that balance. That was such an important part because the biggest challenge with that is that we were receiving a lot of contributions without members' details. And the last one was obviously the benefits that we're paying out. How were those being then paid out? We then set up an app where we were able to basically get all the data from the customer on the app onto our system, and then the money would then be paid into their bank account through there. So there are a couple of things that we learned. One is that you need to think about the digital transformation as a pyramid of value addition. So first of all, digitize, then digitalize, and then define your digital transformation. The second thing you need to do, it's a learning. You must have the right culture, you must have the right talent. We talked about talent. And it's so important that you've got the right talent in place. And then the last one is basically don't be afraid to invest in digitalization because it is a very good advantage. And please continue with it because digitalization will, as we've seen before, as mentioned by Igno, we need to be able to continuously improve on the process so that the customer has a great experience. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Por último, el ministro Haroldo Cedraz, como representante de una alta institución del Tribunal Federal de Cuentas, pues nos puede presentar su experiencia, su visión de cómo conseguir los objetivos de la seguridad social y seguramente también con una visión importante de cómo conseguirlo, pero con el control de los datos. Cuando quiera.
Buenas tardes a todos. Muchas gracias a la ISA por la honorable invitación y mis felicitaciones a nuestra moderadora, la señora María Armesto, y a los distinguidos compañeros que me precedieron en este panel. El uso intensivo de datos es uno de los pilares del esfuerzo que realizamos desde 2015 para la transformación digital del Tribunal de Cuentas de la Unión de Brasil, que es la más alta institución de control externo de Brasil. Gracias al uso de técnicas de análisis de datos e inteligencia artificial, empezamos a realizar auditorías continuas y predictivas hasta poco tiempo, poco usuales en el sector público, capaces de identificar automáticamente indicios de incumplimientos y también de fraudes a la ejecución de contratos, obras y políticas públicas. En la área de seguridad social, por ejemplo, analizamos todos los meses de forma continua y automática los datos sobre el pago de beneficios de seguridad social a millones de brasileños, lo que nos permite identificar rápidamente desde casos simples como pagos dobles o a personas ya fallecidas, a fallas procesales o fraudes más elaborados, y son muchos. Como los análisis que realiza el TCU se basan en datos del propio gobierno federal, queremos compartir con los órganos responsables no solo el resultado de estos cruces de datos, yo creo que las palabras ahora son compartir y co-compartir, sino también los algoritmos utilizados para que puedan ser incorporados a los sistemas de seguridad social y, por lo tanto, esos pagos indebidos son bloqueados en la fuente. Como ello, contribuimos a que los recursos disponibles en el presupuesto del área se apliquen correctamente, sin despilfarros ni desviaciones, lo que es fundamental para reducir el peso de los gastos de seguridad social en las cuentas del Estado. Sin embargo, incluso más importante que luchar contra la malversación y el fraude, yo creo que es garantizar que los beneficios de la seguridad social lleguen a los ciudadanos que los necesitan con mayor rapidez y precisión, y esta es otra área en la que una estrategia basada en datos tiene mucho a ver. Con el avance de la transformación digital de los gobiernos nacionales y locales, la tendencia es que el Estado cuente con un volumen creciente de información sobre los ciudadanos, incluyendo sus relaciones familiares y laborales. Al mismo tiempo, como destacó la ONU en el último informe que evaluó los avances del gobierno digital en más de 190 países, publicado hace un mes, aún existe un gran desafío, por ejemplo, cómo asegurar la inclusión de las personas más vulnerables, como los ancianos y la población de menores ingresos, en este nuevo mundo digital. Pregunto, en Brasil, por ejemplo, la implementación de medidas de emergencia en respuesta al COVID-19 llevó a descubrimiento de decenas de millones de ciudadanos que estaban al margen del sistema bancario y de los registros de seguridad social, y que eran precisamente los que más necesitaban del apoyo del Estado para superar las dificultades económicas y sociales provocadas por la pandemia. Por lo tanto, para que uma estratégia basada em dados seja exitosa e apoie de maneira efectiva o cumprimento da missão institucional e o logro dos objetivos do setor público, especialmente em lo que respecta à seguridade social, eu creio é necessário assegurar que a informação disponível represente de maneira correta e completamente a la população que mais necessita destes benefícios. Uma vez cumprido este requisito essencial, entendo que existe um enorme potencial em termos de perspectivas de futuro para a construção de sistemas de pensões inteligentes em que os dados disponíveis se utilizem para brindar benefícios de maneira correta e oportuna a los cidadãos que los necessitam, mientras que sirven de base para uma gestão mais eficiente e responsável do Estado. Sabemos que o tema da sustentabilidade dos sistemas de pensões e mecanismos de seguridade social é hoje um desafio que enfrentam muitos países, incluso Brasil. A solução a este problema passa necessariamente por el uso de dados de calidad que sustenten el desarrollo de aplicaciones basadas en inteligencia artificial para dar mayor fiabilidad a los cálculos actuariales, mejorar la gestión principalmente de los fondos y recursos de pensiones y asegurar el pago de las prestaciones a los ciudadanos que tienen este derecho. Sobre todo, a mi modo de ver, es necesario que el uso de datos y algoritmos tengan como fin principal la mejora del servicio al contribuyente para que los jubilados y pensionados sean tratados con la dignidad que merecen después de toda una vida de trabajo. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. Como era de esperar, han salido temas importantes y temas que yo creo que deben ser objeto de debate. El señor Igor había comentado que la transformación digital es una nueva forma de trabajar, es una nueva forma de pensar. Pero para que esto pueda ser así, todas las administraciones, todos los empleados deben saber dar ese paso de transformación. ¿Cómo cree que se puede llegar a involucrar a toda la organización en esta nueva forma de trabajar? Sí, sí.
Thank you, Mari Carmen. Well, I think that has to do mostly with the leadership of the institution. I think the head of the institution should head the change. Leaders have to cause reflection with the employees, to make them question if the way we are doing things is the way we should be doing it. I think leadership is very important, and it's just about thinking about what are the citizens or what are the workers expecting from us. If they are already using technology to all aspects of their lives, we have to give them the same within our institution. And I think the first that has to do this, the first movement should come from the leadership of the institution.
Perfecto. Por tanto, esta palabra liderazgo cobra mucho sentido para poder llegar a esta transformación digital. Señor Richard Patrick, el fraude, preocupados por el fraude. ¿Cree que una alianza entre administraciones públicas, sector público, sector privado, de compartir datos, disminuiría este posible fraude?
That's a great question, because one of the biggest fraud we've been dealing with in my country is around members of our fund disguising or telling us that they are dead. I know it's interesting, but saying that they are dead to come and pick their benefits, and yet they are actually alive. So one of the things that we've seen, that we've been trying to make sure that, apart from the partnerships, having the organizations such as the courts, like the National Registry, which registers deaths and births, helping us on that quest, is trying to use technology to be able to find out whether actually somebody is dead. And I know it sounds like it's obvious if somebody is dead, they should be dead, but sometimes it isn't as obvious as that. Anyway, so with the technology, so using different data sources, so your mobile phone number, being able to look at your bank account details, and being able to also use some of the other data sources that are available, you are able to find out that actually this person, although they claim that they're dead, there's been activity on their account, there's been an activity in their mobile phone, there's been an activity around some of the other areas that you expect them not to be, and therefore you are able to detect it. So yes, technology is very good. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, teaching all those tools to the machines to be able to detect that there are suspicious transactions, and somebody actually needs to look at them before they go forward. So yes, very, very, very good way in reducing the risk around fraud.
Perfecto. Ministro Haroldo, ha dicho que es importante llegar rápido a los ciudadanos. ¿Cómo cree que los datos nos podrían ayudar a detectar a aquellos ciudadanos más vulnerables que necesitan más rápidamente nuestra actuación, nuestra cobertura?
No, yo creo que tenemos entonces dos grandes problemas. Uno es sobre las conexiones que tenemos nosotros hoy en Brasil y en todo el mundo con las posibilidades de las tecnologías de la información al nivel de la quinta generación. Entonces, yo creo que es posible, si tenemos un sistema muy eficiente en esta área, eso es más fácil, claro, porque en Brasil tenemos muchas zonas de sombras, de áreas donde no es posible si conseguir una conexión por teléfono. Y los aplicativos que tenemos hoy están al alcance de todos. Para eso también necesitamos tener que las condiciones de transparencia de los datos sean de conocimiento de seguridad para todos. Por eso necesitamos tener tecnologías de largo alcance y también tenemos que tener tecnologías que sean accesibles a los ciudadanos. Entonces yo creo que es la manera más fácil y también con las técnicas que tenemos de uso de herramientas que, como el reconocimiento facial y evaluaciones de riesgo, podemos llegar rápidamente a los ciudadanos con otras posibilidades de uso de nuevas tecnologías.
Para el representante de Estonia, se ha comentado y ha sido general a lo largo del día y ya ocurrió en el foro regional que hubo, que es fundamental poner al ciudadano en el centro. Ese gran avance que se han hecho por parte de todas las instituciones, ¿creemos que el ciudadano lo ha percibido? ¿Estamos en un momento en el que el ciudadano ya percibe que los servicios se enfocan hacia sus necesidades?
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you. Very good question. I hope they are aware, because if we mean about that, do they know that the data are used or not? They can go to the state portal, for example, and we have a service data monitoring. You can check who checked your data. If there is some kind of misuse, you can ask why my data were used. And if you think about using the data and making decisions based on that, in the European Union we have a GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. It's not so easy to put together all the data and make a good proposals to the citizens. Maybe they don't want to have that kind of proposals. Maybe they want to hide something. And we have to make, ask a consent from the citizens in some cases.
Perfecto. Para el representante de Filipinas, se ha dicho que es fundamental la calidad de los datos. ¿Es necesario establecer políticas de revisión, de actualización de datos para mejorar su calidad cada cierto tiempo?
Yeah, definitely. As you said, that garbage in is garbage out. Even in our situation where we have 65 years of data in hundreds of millions, when we were computerized years ago using the microfilm back in the 1980s, we still are processing those data until now. I mean, moving that microfilm data basically into the cloud. And for that to be able to be used, we need to do quality control and we definitely have to make sure that this data is very accurate. Yeah. So as I said, garbage in and garbage out. That's why it's very important that the data that we have through the years is thoroughly reviewed, thoroughly audited, before we're going to place that in the mainstream of basically all the data that we have. Thank you.
Perfecto. Ya se comentaba antes en la anterior ponencia y me gustaría saber cuáles son también los focos inmediatos, los puntos y las estrategias más inmediatas que tienen cada uno de sus países para seguir avanzando en la transformación digital y en una seguridad social, como establece el título de esta sesión, centrada en los datos, y cómo, por parte de nuestro experto, ve un futuro inmediato a nivel global, a nivel mundial. Cuando quieras.
Well, I have to be honest. I've been in this kind of meetings, forums since a lot of years ago, but I stopped for a while when I quit government in 2017, and now I am back in these kind of forums. And for me, there's a huge change. There's a huge change in conscience. There's a huge change in actions, because I remember back in Kazakhstan. It was 2016, I think, when we were there from the ES, and we were discussing about digital transformation, but we were not even calling digital transformation. We were calling digital services. We were calling it in different manners, and the rest of the countries that were there, we were starting all to think about these things back in 2016. And now I am amazed, and I am very, very happy to learn from Estonia, to learn from Uganda, from Philippines, and from even Brazil and Mexico. We have moved forward in constructing this new normality, this new era, the new future. So I think the future looks better than now. The future will be better than where we are, and I think everything is converging to better services, to have the citizen at the center of our public policy, and I look that this is only be better than now.
Efectivamente. Eso es en lo que tenemos que pensar, que hemos dado un paso más, pero nos quedan unos cuantos pasos por dar. Margus, en esa agenda del 2030, ¿cuánto queda por hacer? Margus.
Thank you. In Estonia, I think that we don't have to do extra nothing. It means that if we do something, we keep in mind all those topics which is written into the agenda. And we don't want to make like a special effort or release to make one service like a life event based. Okay, at the moment we have to do one or two of them in the beginning, but in the later phase, if we do something, keep in mind and please follow those rules or topics that are written down. And of course, it should be important for the politicians and for the budget as well. Thank you.
Perfecto. Señor Michael Requirino, qué es el futuro más inmediato en Filipinas para abordar esta transformación digital.
Oh, okay. We may not be in the same league as Estonia, where basically all data is digitized. I think in our case, particularly in our social security system, the first thing to do is digitize all data. The data of 65 years ago, of 60 years ago, of 50 years ago. We were able to digitize data of around 25, 30 years ago, but basically that's still not enough, because the ones who are retiring now are those who have paid 35, 40 years ago. Second is use that data for the cleanup. As Richard explained here, you could have data, but if you're not going to use that in common sense, that will have no value. If one should be able to determine, coordinate with the statistics office, where they could possibly provide you with data of who have died within the past 3 months, you will be able to remove from your retirement pension list those who have been giving a continuous retirement pay. We basically have to use that data. And third is, I think, more than ISA, is actually we have to share the data with other government institutions for the better delivery of services. This is basically the end-all, be-all of data transformation. For us to be able to deliver better services to our members and to our fellow countrymen and to our fellow members of this world. And we could only do that when we share data. As the others have said in the previous panels, we could have data, but if the others are not in sync with us, and if the others would have not the same kind of data, that data will only be useful for us. We have to be a digitized world, and to be able to do that, everyone has to share. Thank you.
Sí. En Uganda, ese reto más inmediato se centraría en seguir avanzando en esa colaboración, en ese compartir datos.
I saw this great statistic which said that 70% of critical mission data is actually data not in your company, it's actually outside. And yet that information is critical for your business. So definitely the sharing of data is so important. I've told you about the partnerships we've got with government, the government registry, the government department that registers businesses. I've told you the data that we share with the banks to look at the bank data. So it's so important that this data is accurate. It's so important that this data can be used. And I think that there must be a will, there must be a way that you can utilize that collaboration, that partnership, to be able to utilize data so that you can come up with things that make your customer feel better, things that give your customer a better experience. And I think that that is the only way that we can go. By utilizing data, sharing data, making sure that it is clean, that it is good for use, and that it is not obsolete, because as you improve on it, it gets better so that you can use it for a business decision. And building the tools to be able to read that data into insightful business decisions.
Por último, ministro, estamos hablando de compartir datos entre las administraciones de un país, pero ¿vemos factible en un periodo razonable de tiempo un mercado global de datos entre países, más allá de Unión Europea, mucho más global?
Yo creo que es una tendencia que no se puede olvidar, pero yo creo que tenemos otros retos más importantes ahora en nuestros países, porque un país continental como Brasil tiene más desafíos en el momento. Por eso que pienso que tenemos que eliminar en nuestro país, cada país tiene su realidad, toda y cualquier herramienta de gobierno electrónico. ¿Por qué? Porque con gobierno electrónico solo tenemos un camino de mano única entre el Estado y los ciudadanos. Y si tenemos la posibilidad de tener un gobierno 100% digital, tenemos la posibilidad de tener este camino de mano doble entre el Estado y el ciudadano y entre el ciudadano y el Estado. Y yo creo también que necesitamos investir más y más en cada Estado antes de compartir con todo el mundo, más en seguridad de datos y también en calidad de los datos. Entonces yo creo que es muy más importante ahora investir en la calidad de los datos y investir